Hello, welcome to Outside Xbox. You're watching Show of the Week. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jane. And this week with Overwatch League signing season open, I've been getting myself out there, trying to make a name for myself so I get snapped up by, one of the top teams.
Yeah? How are you doing that then?
Yeah, with a slick audition video, Mike.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? So I'm going to need a lot of time off this autumn coming up because I'm going to have training, a lot of matches, I'll be in the dojo a lot.
Oh, bear that in mind.
So what have you been up to then?
Well, nothing that exciting.
Yeah, obviously.
But I have been playing Agents of Mayhem.
Oh, what's that then?
I love kicking Legion ass.
I will tell you, Jane, it is a game by the people who made Saints Row, but it's about agents.
Volition. Yes, I know them well.
Exactly.
And it's about?
And it's about agents, and it's a sort of like sweary Saturday morning cartoon.
Okay, I'm on board with that. Yeah, go on.
You want me to f it up, don't you? Don't you?
So all the cutscenes are kind of animated, all the characters are larger than life, all the different agents have their own sort of abilities and skill sets.
So they're a bit like Saints Row people, but now they're spies.
So I think what happened is with Saints Row, they sort of painted themselves into a corner because they made you into a superhero, they, spoiler alert, blew up the
Aliens,
Earth.
yeah.
And so they kind of have now got to the point where they're like, we can't escalate this ridiculous series any further. So this is their sort of, still quite silly, franchise sort of spin-off. The first mission's called Operation Spin-Off, so they're making it very clear that it is a kind of spin-off.
It's in the same canonical universe?
Sort of, yes. Yeah, basically. The fleur-de-lis, which is the Saints Row logo, is like a standard thing in Agents of Mayhem. So it's like that. It plays very similar to Crackdown in the same way that Saints Row 4 was quite Crackdown-y.
It's an open-world version of Seoul.
Yeah.
Right?
In South Korea, the sort of futuristic version of what is already quite a futuristic city, right?
I want to say I'm so proud right now for saying Seoul, not Seoul, which is how I pronounced it for a very long time.
I think we all.
Please carry on, Mike.
I think we all did that. Don't worry. We all
got
came
an
to
E in
that
it.
one late. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, but it does, and that was my bad.
Hey there! Welcome to Seoul.
The location of the city doesn't make a ton of difference. Like there's a few sort of Asian food joints, but there's not really a sense of like culture.
Korean
yeah, exactly. It's mainly
We're
just
set in the future, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it's globalization.
Right,
it's
exactly.
The city.
So it's sort of flattened all of the personality of the city with a bunch of like high-tech skyscrapers. But it's fine. It's a Crackdown style city.
Okay.
You run around. You can like triple jump and things like that. So your mobility is really good.
Triple jump.
Yeah.
It's one better than double jump.
Well, exactly. And I think
board with that.
when I spoke to the developers, they were like, "Yeah, we put it in triple jump because it's one better than double jumping."
Right.
That's literally the only reason.
I know where they're going with the sequel.
Yeah. How do we improve? Put that one on the back of the box. One extra jump.
What? Pre-order now for exclusive quadruple jumping.
Yeah.
And you play 3 characters, I know that much.
Right.
I played a little bit of it with Luke at E3. Yeah, so I know you pick 3 characters.
Yep.
One is a cool roller derby girl.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
I liked her.
So she's really good. She's got a kind of minigun and she skates around the whole place. What's quite cool about each of the agents, you kind of pick them up and you do a sort of origin story mission where you're playing just as that agent. So I was playing as there's a character called Rama who has like a bow and arrow, and she's a sort of biologist, sort of medic in India, and who's been like roped into the team. And so you get to play her sort of almost like a loyalty mission to unlock her as one of the agents for the squad.
So is it like a recruiting kind of deal?
Yeah, a little bit.
And then
you start off with
the
3
team
agents,
together?
and you build the squad
Avengers style.
Yeah, but it's quite cool because it's a sort of hot switching thing. So when a character's starting to get damage and stuff, you have to kind of tag them out before, sort of like a tag fighting game. You have to get rid of them before they die entirely, otherwise
And the right tool for the right job,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
You've got a range guy and a melee guy. Or...
Yeah, and they also have special abilities, like some of them are better at breaking through armor and stuff, so you'll want to switch to that character if you're in a situation where you've got like an armored sort of enemy. So there's a little bit of strategy around it.
But answer me this, Mike.
Yeah?
What of multiplayer and co-op?
There is no co-op whatsoever.
What?
I know, right? For no good technological or like thematic or plot reason, you have these 3 agents that you can play as, but there is no 3-player co-op, which seems utterly ridiculous because that is absolutely the most fun way to play Saints Row, right? And this would be a perfect game where basically no offense, but the story doesn't really matter that much.
The crystal encased in its shell has a dark matter resonance, more than sufficient for the Morningstar's plans.
It's more about just running around blowing things up. It would be
Blowing
perfect for
stuff
co-op.
up in an open world with
Yeah,
friends.
exactly.
Sounds like
Crackdown had
fun.
co-op.
Yeah.
Crackdown 2 had even more co-op. So yeah, I don't really understand it. I don't.
The technical, like, resource limitation?
I can't see why that would be the case. I honestly can't.
Okay.
So I don't know what their
Mysterious.
excuse is, whether this started as a sort of budget DLC spin-off or something like that, and they just didn't get it in at the start. But yeah, no co-op, which
Okay.
I think vastly reduces the appeal of the game, for me at least. Because although a lot of people are like, well, you know, you put co-op in a game and then no one actually uses it and they just play it single player. Saints
That
Row
is
2.
also sometimes true,
Yeah.
though.
But Saints, of all the games in existence, Saints Row 2 and Saints Row 3, I played through the entirety of both of those in co-op. Those were the ones where co-op really, really enriched the
Yeah.
the experience, because it was just about causing chaos. And this should be another game about
Yeah.
causing chaos.
I mean, I fancy it, but I wonder if the data would show that you're an atypical player.
Maybe.
And that although co-op is a nice bullet point to have on the back of the box,
it's not worth the
in fact,
development
most
resource.
people don't get together with friends. They play a solo, and that you know they want a single player story
Yeah.
experience. Although you say the story is sort of forgettable.
Yeah,
but
it's basically nonsense.
yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, it's a bit of a shame, and I think, you know, it really could have done with that to sort of differentiate itself, maybe. But on the other hand, I mean, if you're big into Crackdown and you're tired of waiting for Crackdown 3,
Yeah.
then this is a pretty serviceable, like, workable stopgap. I really like the way the agents are kind of varied and stuff. So they have their own weapons, obviously. They have their own special abilities, which are on like a quick sort of cooldown.
Yeah.
And then everyone has like a Mayhem ability, which is an even bigger sort of.
ultimate
Yeah,
super
exactly. Yeah,
deal.
which
Yeah.
builds up over time. But they've also got little sort of quirks in terms of their movement. So some of them can climb walls,
Yeah.
other ones can dash in midair,
Yeah.
other ones have like stealth invisibility.
The
and
roller
stuff.
derby lady, she's on skates. I
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
That's
So
cool.
she can dash around and
Yeah.
things. And then beyond that, you've got all those abilities, but then there's just a massive upgrade system. Like, you complete a mission and you unlock 3 or 4 new things for your characters, new abilities, new like plugins, new sort of mayhem abilities and things.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of kind of character customization that you can do in amongst these kind of quite strong personality like archetypes as well.
Okey-dokey. And there's driving, there's
yes,
vehicles.
there is,
Right,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you can get around, or do you need to get around? in a car?
Yeah,
It's-
you don't have that kind of super sprint that you had in
Yeah.
Saints Row 4, so like cars are useful, and there are a few sort of car chases and races and
Okay.
things like that. The handling's very much Saints Row 3,
Yes.
4. It's got like a drift button so you can kind of drift around and boost and things. So it's quite cool. It's got that Batman Arkham Knight thing where if you call the vehicle and you stand in the area where it's going to be, it kind of collects you on the way. You sort of teleport into the into
So
the
you're going
vehicle
to say
and
the
stuff.
Batman Arkham Knight thing where you never want to use
Yeah,
the
exactly.
vehicle.
Where it turns into a tank and then you have to do
No,
8
no.
hours of
Okay,
miserable
that's
tank
fine
shooting.
Then. I like drifting and whatnot. Yeah.
So it's kind of colourful. So it's sort of a blend of kind of Overwatch with the character types and things like that.
Yes.
A blend of Crackdown with the mobility and the kind of level design. It's very sort of outdoors focused, and you're kind of on giant platforms and things like that.
And Saints Row
And then a bit of
sass.
Saints Row, yeah.
Yeah.
There are good jokes in the writing. There's good sort of voice performances and stuff. And they are a bunch of sort of larger than life cartoon characters.
Holy shit. I think I found D-Bab's chemistry set. Hold on, I'll shut it down real quick. Uh-oh.
What do you mean, uh-oh? What happened?
I think I made the glowing ball angry.
Saints Row was always over the top, and it's sort of almost its origins as a kind of gangster like GTA clone.
Yeah.
Kind of increasingly didn't really make sense with
Yeah.
the kind of overall story.
I love that arc for Saints Row.
Yeah.
That it began as like this kind of hokey
Yeah.
GTA clone and then became its own thing.
Yeah,
What a
absolutely.
heartwarming tale that is.
Yeah, if you play the first Saints Row, it is obviously played with a straight bat and a sort of straightforward gang open world game.
Found its voice.
Yeah, by Saints Row 2, it was you're running around with a traffic cone on your head and running into traffic to claim insurance money. So yeah, it's grown and expanded. I really hope it isn't the end of Saints Row. I think they're probably just taking a break, and I think maybe having this as their sort of more over the top franchise might allow them to kind of bring Saints Row back to sort of some semblance of reality after the living in a simulation sort of superhero stuff, which might be okay.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I would much rather if they'd just made another Red Faction game than Agents of Mayhem. Like,
Really?
Yeah, Red Faction Guerrilla was amazing. Then they made that other one, which was awful. Armageddon or something
The
like
one
that.
with the really physicsy destruction.
Yeah, and it was really bad.
Adam Hale.
Yes.
But the Red Faction Guerrilla was a really good open world, sci-fi sort of GTA style thing, which had a hammer where you could smash things.
Yeah.
Why not just make another one of those? It was really, really good. I guess the last one that was rubbish sold really badly, probably because it was rubbish, and they went, well, that's that series done. So yeah, Agents of Mayhem, cool, I guess.
Like a sweary cartoon?
Yeah, like a sweary
Archer.
cartoon. Yeah, not as funny as Archer, unfortunately,
Damn.
sadly. But it's very much like kind of Saturday morning cartoon where all the bad guys are really devious and are sort of bickering and infighting.
Okay.
And you know, they all look ludicrous.
When you say Saturday morning cartoon villain, I immediately think of Krang.
Yeah, a little
I'm
bit from
thinking
Teenage
of like
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, like a disembodied brain.
The main guy is Dr. Babylon, who
Okay.
is this kind of bald sort of techno wizard bloke.
All right, I'm envisaging that.
Yeah, and he looks straight out of like a G.I. Joe thing or
Sweet.
something.
Okay.
So yeah, it's nostalgic, but it's obviously aimed at people who watched Saturday morning cartoons
And
in
now
the
they're
80s
into
rather
swears
than
and
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now they're into foul language.
Is it a full-priced game?
Yeah, it's
It
an
is,
actual
okay.
legit. You know, it's not like
Legit
a downloadable
game.
thing. I think scale-wise, it's pretty big. You know, it seems like there's a lot in there. There's a lot of different characters, and like I said, a ton of customization options, which is a great idea. You know, you can, within the first couple of missions, you can rework all your kind of special abilities for all the agents that you've got because you'll have unlocked so much just by completing the first few missions. So there's a lot there and a lot to sort of get through.
Any cameos? Likely? What you got?
Well,
Happening?
Pierce is in there. He is a sort of, they became sort of celebrities and kind
Yes.
of reality TV stars and things like that. His role is as a kind of celebrity, but he's in there and it's the same guy. So that is again another connection to the Saints Row universe.
I see.
So there may be cameos from other Saints Row people. Particularly, I haven't done his loyalty mission yet, but there might be a bit of an explanation of how he's ended up as part of
Right.
Mayhem.
Right.
Like I really enjoyed playing as the bow and arrow lady because the bow and arrow is just super satisfying to use. It's like a charge
charge
thing.
shot, isn't
Yeah,
it?
so you kind of
Yeah.
fire it, can either ping off arrows or like charge up, but it's really accurate. I'm sure there's a bit of gentle sort of auto aim going on because you just feel like you're just taking people's heads off.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite agent of Mayhem?
My favourite agent of Mayhem is the roller derby lady who skates everywhere because her loyalty mission, and I think we've all been there, is her trying to piece together the events of a drunken night out that she's been on. So you go back retracing your steps or your skate tracks, trying to work out
your steps.
Yeah, exactly. To try and work out what happened the night before.
And you're like, oh, I signed up to be a secret agent.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it's
hate when that happens.
It's a bit like that. You're visiting like ramen stands
Gotta
that
go
you
on
ate
a
a load of
mission
stuff
and I'm
when you were.
all dehydrated and cranky.
Yeah, she is cranky throughout the entire thing because she's got a stonking hangover. So
Classic.
after drinking in a dive bar all night.
All right, okay, quickly, before we go, tell me, Mayhem is an acronym.
It is.
What does it stand for?
I've no idea. Massive agents.
Agents of Massive Agents.
Agents of Massive
it's
Agents.
a recursive acronym.
Yes. Have
Holla.
have enemies mauled. There you go. Correct. Did I spell Mayhem right? I don't even know anymore.
They didn't.
Now go back to work before I have Carol in HR enact a performance review.
It's sort of like video game popcorn, right? It's got no real nutritional value, but it's really easy to just consume it and keep playing it.
Cover it in butter.
And cover it in butter, yeah. Do not put a disc in your Xbox that is covered in butter. I'm sure Microsoft support will not replace your Xbox.
Oh.
Well then, see you all on the flip side.
Good luck, agents. Be safe.
Why are they doing all this?
Because they're secret agents, Andy.
Secret agents with all that noise and chaos?
Well, secret-ish agents.
Someone should tell these secret agents just exactly what secret agent is supposed to mean.
Is it you?
Yes, it is, Mike. Video games have a rich history of supposedly secret agents who are more obvious than that guy Captain Obvious that everyone's always comparing me to. Probably a pretty cool guy, I expect. Here are 5 of the least secret agents in games for whom 007 is the number of seconds it takes before everyone notices them and things descend into chaos.
Welcome to Russia. MI6 has given us the go-ahead on the mission.
Let's wait until the last truck passes. I'll take the guard on the left, you take the one on the right.
James Bond is undoubtedly the most famous secret agent on the planet, which is already a disadvantage if you're trying to be a secret agent. Still, he doesn't help his case in the nostalgic GoldenEye remake for the Wii. See, my recollection of the first level of GoldenEye was me carefully and silently infiltrating an enemy facility and shooting people in toilet cubicles. The Wii remake adds the small detail that apparently I forgot to bring any forged identification papers on my vital mission and was instantly rumbled by security, leading to a truck chase and a series of explosions that could probably be seen from space.
Давайте документы. Я сказал, выходи из грузовика.
Let's get out of here, Alex.
Pretending you left your ID in your other trousers doesn't even work in your local nightclub, let alone at a heavily defended Cold War installation. It's probably wearing trainers as well.
Please come to 128 Pleasant Avenue. Make sure to come alone. And no tricks, Polyblank. This message will self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Secret Agent Polyblank from 60s spy-themed comedy game Jazzpunk leaves a trail of chaos and destruction everywhere he goes. Somehow his supposedly covert missions involve stealing artificial kidneys from cowboys, murdering a pig with a ukulele, and photocopying his rear end. You don't want to leave that lying around. It's as unique as a fingerprint, you know.
Welcome back, Dr. Buckley.
Still, it's not like Polyblank's boss, the director, is setting a good example in terms of professionalism. Here he is under his desk, sleeping off a 3-drink lunch. Let's just say Polyblank learned from the best. With the nefarious Baron von Max on the loose, the Chief of International Security has no option but to send in his best agent, Guy's spy, who may also be his only agent. And what does Guy's approach to the mission actually entail? Well, for a start, mowing down a load of people on a Berlin train platform. Then performing a very public cable car gunfight as skiers casually pass by below. And then, whatever is going on here. Hey, at least it's in private and doesn't involve firing a gun in a heavily populated area, which seems to be Guy's go-to covert strategy. Also, his name is Guy Spy, bit of a giveaway. Undersea secret agent James Pond's ability to participate in globe-trotting espionage missions and suave spy business is somewhat limited by the fact that if he leaves the water for more than a few seconds, he dies. Think of all the cocktail party invitations he's had to pass up. That unfortunate aversion to air is probably why his mission is limited to tedious busy work like releasing lobsters from lobster cages and tidying up toxic waste from the seabed. I mean, it's hardly infiltrating a volcano lair, is it? Pond is also not particularly covert for a secret agent, given that he's got to be the only fish in the ocean wearing a dinner jacket and bow tie. And don't get me started on the massively conspicuous extending robot suit he appropriated in the sequel. Still, he's always in international waters, so everything he does is nice and legal.
Stop. Road crew workers only beyond the yellow line.
You guys are road crew workers?
Yes, we work on the road with these red signs.
I see.
The Milkman Conspiracy is a Psychonauts level set in the mind of a paranoid security guard and is populated almost entirely by sinister government spies called G-Men.
I like to trim hedges.
It is a good day for that activity you mentioned.
Of course, they'd like you to believe that it's actually populated by road crew workers, hedge trimmers, and grieving widows, but they're not exactly what you'd call skilled in the art of disguise.
I am a grieving widow.
I am your sister in grief.
Very convincing. Still, you have to admire their dedication to staying undercover, even when on fire.
Look at that woman's breasts. They're large. I work on the road crew.
Now it's time to see what's written in the comments and in the plaza in Splatoon 2. To be honest, it's mostly about ketchup and mayonnaise.
Mayo for life.
No way! Ketchup rules!
I'll kill you!
I kill you first!
Brown sauce!
Get up! Now that all that unpleasantness is behind us, first up this week are your comments on last week's show, which, if you'll remember, was about Fortnite and some other big games that started life in a game jam.
This kind of game jam is an organised event where game developers have a certain amount of time to let their imaginations run wild and develop a game concept from scratch just to flex those creative muscles. Occasionally, though, those ideas turn out to be too brilliant and, more importantly, too potentially lucrative to just leave on a hard drive somewhere.
Commenter George Sears is confused, saying, "You can't make jam out of game." I think the word you're looking for is pâté.
Possibly thinking of the wrong sort of game there, George, but now I'm hungry. Thanks. You could create just a single giant tower if you want.
It looks like a middle finger.
Yeah,
just
to the enemies.
Enrage the enemies.
Exactly, yeah.
Like goad them into making a stupid move. And then
gain the psychological advantage, obviously.
Nice. At least commenter Matthew De Broys is impressed with my strategy. He says, "A tower shaped like a middle finger to enrage the enemy." Andy has been reading his Sun Tzu. Oh yeah, love a bit of sunny tea. Check this out. Hence, to fight and conquer in all your battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in building your base in the most insulting shape possible.
So ahead of his time.
Speaking of ahead of our time, commenter Lord Backtor has this to say about our concept of a monster-proof fence. Monster-proof fence? Ooh, so that's why the mailman hasn't come here in, like, forever.
Yes, we're sorry to inform you that your mailman must have been a monster.
We'll forward on your mail just as soon as you get a new mailman, or the fence breaks, whichever is earlier.
Also, if you could order a bit more candy, we're almost out of the last lot that you ordered.
Moving on now to your comments on this video about the first trailers for video games that were completely different to the finished game. Whether the original concept was too technically demanding, not good looking enough, or met with critical disapproval, gaming history is full of games which were barely recognisable from their original forms when they finally landed on shop shelves.
Some excellent suggestions in the comments, such as this from Enchanting Maniac, who says, "Dead Island, anyone? That was a disappointing letdown."
I don't know, if I want to jump through a window in slow motion, I can play Max Payne.
In reverse?
Fair point, we lost a classic.
A surreal parallel universe where Halo was a third-person shooter that launched on Mac computers. Weird, I know. Weirder than Master Chief in footy pyjamas, which sounds adorable, but weird, right? Weird.
On this topic, meanwhile, commenter Ian Hader posits the following. Master Chief in pyjamas. Maybe his power armor is his pyjamas, and he's just too lazy to take it off. Makes you think.
Oh man, what if Mjolnir is just for Spartans to sleep in, and he has actual power armor that's like 10 times more powerful than Mjolnir, and he just won't change into it because he's too lazy?
If that happens in Halo 6, you heard it here first. Meanwhile, commenter RedGunman05 asks, anyone think the old guy in Resident Evil 5 that was talking about Wesker kids sounded like Palpatine?
The Wesker children were entrusted with endless potential. Of them, only one survived.
I'm pretty sure that was Palpatine.
Hey, he's not on screen the whole time during Star Wars. He probably gets days off to pursue his hobbies.
Or like monologuing at Wesker in a castle.
Hey, Palpatine doesn't judge your hobbies.
True, in which case let's move on to the comments on this video about the weird origin stories of some of your favourite video game characters.
If you're like us, finding out the backstory of Samus Aran from the Metroid series is probably pretty low on your list of things to do when playing a Metroid game. I mean, our list is pretty much just roll into a ball and shoot things. However, that means you're missing out on Samus's weird origin story in which she's raised by a race of hyper-intelligent space birds.
Silver Wolf Pirates taking issue with your description of Metroid's Chozo, Andy, saying, they are not chickens. They are our advanced race.
Nice try, Silverwolf. I recognise Chozo typing when I see it. Get back in your space hen house.
While some games' Pokédex entries dance around this by talking about Cubone's sorrow over its mother's death and talking about the skull that it wears on its head, others come right out and say it, that an orphaned Cubone will use the skull of its dead mother as a sort of crash helmet to protect itself from danger. If that seems dark, we'd encourage you to look at the backstories for Beware, Kadabra, and Drifloon. We thought this was supposed to be a kid's game.
Gundam Heavy Arms has another creepy Pokemon to add to the list, saying, Banette is the disgruntled essence of a doll that was discarded. It hunts for the child that threw it away.
Where was that doll we've had on the shelf for the past few weeks?
Oh, I was going to get rid of it. It was creeping me out.
Yeah, I might just pop that back on the shelf for a bit.
Sonic's had several origin stories over the years, but our favourite, and the one that does the best and most bizarre job of explaining the backstory of Sonic and his arch-nemesis, Dr. Robotnik/Eggman, is the one from the Sonic the Comic story, The Origin of Sonic.
Finally, DJ Max27 says, the comic isn't really canon, so his true backstory is still unknown, but we still use the comic because it's the only thing we can get to Sonic's backstory, I guess.
Well, the comic isn't canon. But I can still enter this competition to win a Mega CD, right?
That comic's from 1993.
Not hearing a no.
All right, you do that. Let me know how you get on.
Will do. Man, I can't wait to win that Mega CD. Gonna play all the Mega CD games. Night Trap, the Crisscross music video one. What else was there? Sewer Shark, was that? Oh, it sounds right. There was...
Corpse Killer.
Corpse Killer. Man, classics, every one of them.
That is it for this week's show, but I am reliably informed that you can summon a spirit by pressing the like button 3 times.
A good spirit, right?
Oh, good spirits, Mike.
What about bad spirits?
Oh yeah, except the bad ones. But who knows which one you'll get? Find out. Press the like button 3 times.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
See, 3 times an odd number, so it works out as a like. And then you like, dislike, like. Skip. Spirits.
All right, lunch?
I can't, Mike, because I'm an athlete now. I work with the esports, and so I only eat athlete food for nutrition and stamina, you know.
Since when is a bag of M&M's athlete food?
I'm an athlete, therefore, athlete food. Yeah.
Also, what happened to your previous career as a pro gamer and all that lucrative energy drink money you were supposed to be bringing in?
I thought you were going for lunch, Mike.